Welcome everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Victor Muñoz. I come from Sala Beckett in Barcelona, a theatre focused on contemporary playwriting, on new contemporary playwriting. Sala Beckett has been part of the Fabulamundi project for quite a few years now. And now that the third edition of the Fabulamundi project is finishing, we thought it would be nice to meet some playwrights who, thanks to the project, had been at Sala Beckett at some point. So here we have 6 authors, which have in common 3 things. Basically, they write for theatre, they are part of the Fabulamundi project, and at some point they came at the theatre at Sala Beckett, and they spent a few days with us. So I like to introduce you in a strict alphabetical order. Francesca Garolla from Italy, Bogdan Georgescu from Romania, David Košťák from the Czech Republic, Jakob Nolte from Germany, Guillaume Poix from France, and Wakulik from Poland. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
And so I'd like to start by asking you whether you could introduce yourselves and explain basically who you are, and also why at some point, in what context, at some point, you came at Sala Beckett and we got to know each other. Francesca, do you want to start?
Okay. I'm the first. Yes, I'm Francesca. I'm a playwright, and I travel in a little theater in Milan, like dramaturg and part of artistic direction. I went to Sala Beckett the last year for Obrador d'Estiu, and I don't know, this is a basic presentation of me.
Good. Bogdan?
Hi, I'm Bogdan Georgescu. I'm originally from Romania, but I moved to Berlin, and I'm based in Berlin since 4 years ago now. And I think I went to Sala Beckett in 2015. Help me, Victor, here. I think 15 or 16.
15
I don't know.
Probably. No, I think it's 15, yeah.
Yes. There was a reading performance of Antisocial that was done by a Catalan company there, a company of actors at Sala Beckett, and I had 2 readings, stage performances actually, followed by talkbacks and the meeting with the audience. And then I came a second time to Sala Beckett during the summer playwriting residency. And it was great. Yeah. And I'm a playwright.
And director?
Sometimes.
Good. David?
Okay, I'm David Košťák from Prague. I'm working as a dramaturg with Theatre Letí, and also I'm a playwright freelancer, and I came to Sala Beckett 2 years ago, I think it's now, to be part at a workshop of Simon Stephen.
Good. And what's your favorite theatre in the world, David?
Well, I think it's the Royal Court.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
What's your favorite building? What's your favorite building? Theater building?
No, it's a Sala Beckett for sure. The building, yeah.
Hello, Jakob.
Hi, I'm Jakob. I'm a writer. I write plays and novels and radio plays. I came to Sala Beckett last year, also with Francesca.
Jakob, it's not easy to...
Okay. So I came to Sala Beckett last year, and this is my first Zoom meeting, which says a lot about my practice.
Thank you. Guillaume?
Hi, I'm Guillaume Poix. I'm a French playwright and novelist, and I've been to Sala Beckett 5 years ago in 2015 for the Obrador d'Estiu with Simon Stevens.
Good. And Anna?
Hello, I'm Anna Wakulik. I'm surprisingly a playwright and a screenwriter. And I went to Sala Beckett for the first time, I think in 2011 or 12, to Simon Stevens course. And then in 2018, probably, I led a course, workshop about humor in writing, and my play A Time Trip was presented in Sala Beckett. I was there last year as well. Okay, yeah, I was there.
Quite a few times.
Meeting, yeah. We had this meeting with Simon Stevens, like after 7 years, I think, after the course. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Well, the first question is very simple. It's a very easy one. Is how are you? So this is a nice way to start a conversation, or the usual way to start a conversation. But I thought when I was planning this conversation that more than ever it was necessary to ask you how you were, taking into account what had happened in our countries and the current situation in our countries. So how are you, Bogdan?
Horrible. I was at home during the whole thing, the pandemic, and then I had this project that was planned a long time ago for a youth festival here in Romania. It's called Ideo Days, and it's been happening for 15 years now, and today is the 15th anniversary. And I traveled here 2 days ago in this small town south of Bucharest called Alexandria to start the work on this project. And like 2 days ago, I had huge fever. So now I'm locked up in the hotel and waiting for the results. Yes. And at the same time, the system, like the medical system is collapsing here, and the cases exploded from like 300 last week to thousands this week. Like today they tested 1,200 people, but that's also because they test more, but also because people don't give a shit about any social distancing, and they want to have their vacations, and everybody's at the beach or in the so I'm kind of trapped in this hotel room right now, and we'll see what's next. I have to take the test, and then I don't know. I hope it's negative, and I hope I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Anna.
Yes. I'm in a hotel room as well, as you can see.
It's not your drawing. Oh.
What a surprise.
Okay, there are a few other interesting things. But I'm not locked in here. I just came from Warsaw to Sopot, to northern Poland, to the city I come from, because I have had nothing to do in Warsaw. I mean, I have sometimes to do my screenwriting meetings, but I decided to come here, and probably I will move here for some longer time. And my history with Teatr Dramatyczny is over as well, because my agreement, it's finished. And I think it's a situation of many people who are employed like full-time in theaters. So yeah, but I must tell you, I was in March when everything started, this pandemic thing. I was so happy. I had nothing to do that I wrote a play. I wanted to write like for 2 years, and I finished it like in three weeks. So I was happy to not to be overwhelmed by anything. And yeah, I had this opportunity to focus on it. Yeah, and I mean, you know, in very touristic town at the moment, people don't care as well about social distancing and anything else. And our government says it's okay, although it's not. I mean, the numbers are worse than they were at the beginning.
Okay. Jakob.
Yeah, I'm in Berlin. I've been here since March, I think. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Exactly.
The situation in Berlin is quite comfortable, I'd say. Like bars are open and the numbers don't get get up too much. There was this huge protest, the Black Lives Matter protest a few weeks ago or a month ago, and there were like 30,000 people on Alexanderplatz, and there were not so many more like infections. So it's like the situation seems to be okay, which also I think it corresponds quite like with the time I had in the beginning. It was very stressful, and I thought that everything will collapse, and then some things got better, and so me too.
Good to hear that. David?
Well, I'm doing, I would say, pretty well, though I would like to get somewhere for a longer time from this flat as well, because I was in a lockdown for 2 months, like, because I live in a city center, and here the social distancing was pretty strict. And I didn't find it very inspiring to be in one flat for 2 months, so I wasn't as productive as I would like to be. But still, I managed to finish my book that time, so I felt at least something happened that time. And here the situation looked a bit better towards the end of May, because we actually had a premiere now after the corona, but now the numbers are rising again, so we're now expecting the worst for autumn. So let's see about it. And I got a puppy. That's my biggest project during the corona. So
okay. Guillaume?
I'm fine. I mean, I'm great compared to Bogdan, who seems to be ill. But no, I mean, I went through that healthily, so I can't complain. And well, just worried about the next episodes of this situation. So many cancellations of plays, and which is a bit depressing, but trying to cheer up. So it's okay. And you, Victor?
I'm fine, thank you. The situation in Barcelona is not the best that we had. Numbers are rising very, very quickly, and so nobody's sure of what's going to happen in the next few weeks, but we'll see. But I'm fine, thank you, Guillaume. And Francesca?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm in Milan, in my home, but now there is not the lockdown. We had a lockdown during 2 months, and I think that the Italy was the first country to close all, and now the situation is better, but it's not really well. We have to keep attention, and we have the social distancing, and we are worried, yes. I spend my lockdown in my home alone, but fortunately I have a dog, and so I could go out with my dog, and so it feels better. And that's all. That's all. Yeah.
Good. My next question was related to something that David said. So you are a playwright, so you should be used to working on your own at home, in your office. But I'm not really sure whether these times locked at home have been very productive. That is, whether you have been able to work a lot. Anna has. I know David hasn't. I don't know about the others. That is, I would like to know whether these changes in your life during the last few weeks have been useful for your work, whether you have managed to work, or whether even being on your own, you haven't been able to work as much as you wish. Who wants to start? Anna, for instance, you wrote a play?
Yes.
Good.
No, because I think it gave me, I mean, I was in a comfortable situation as well, because I was like, I had this job at the theater from March till end of June. So I got my money, you know, by doing nothing. So I was able to afford to do whatever I want. And we weren't really closed in homes. I mean, it was possible to not, even if you didn't have a dog, you were able to go outside. So I used my bike a lot, and the springtime was beautiful as well in Warsaw. So really, I watched every movie I promised myself before to watch. I read some books, and I don't know, maybe it's weird, but I really enjoyed this lockdown. First month, let's say. And then it was, I think it was easier without all these obstacles, like everything was opened afterwards. So I started to, I mean, I moved from Warsaw here to the Baltic coast. And actually, I must tell you, I was thinking about doing this move to move from Warsaw to come back to my city, and it was the time in which I was able to do this. So I'm glad. Yeah.
Who else was able to work and write and finish a play?
No one.
No one. How did the others?
What for?
How did the others? I mean, how did you live this period of being on your own at home? Did you manage to work? Did you manage to concentrate and do some working? Jakob.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was very difficult for me because just I didn't really know what to write or I mean what situations would be like what would the world be like in a year. So writing a scene or anything actually felt a little bit strange because it was like, but you know, people don't meet each other anymore, and why would they meet now in this play? and then again, I thought it would be. I immediately also felt felt it was rather boring to write about, you know, what's happening because everybody was in it, so it felt like all these diaries that came out, like the Corona diaries. Like I got so many people ask me to write something or what I felt or like to reflect in the moment, but I don't really. That's not just not really what I like to do. So I didn't write for quite a long time. I even couldn't manage to read really. I was just watching movies, but that was nice. I watched a lot of Chantal Akerman movies, which are all about isolation, and then I felt very isolated, which was interesting. But
Go
now,
to Hasenheide.
yeah, I've been to Hasenheide every day. I'm living directly. There's the Hasenheide.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And look at me.
And I was there every day. I was jogging. I was just going through this park every day. It was crazy.
I have more.
Thank you, Bogdan.
But now,
Sorry,
since
Jakob.
everything is normal again, my working schedule is normal, back to normal. I'm just doing my stuff. And since I think at the beginning I thought everything is going to break down, but then a few institutions were clinging to me or were giving me signals that I could work with them after the lockdown. So when that happened, I immediately felt better. But in the beginning, it was very hard. And also I was lucky because there was nothing planned for this time, and I'm a little bit like established in the theater in Germany, so it's much easier for me. But friends of mine who were looking forward for the premiere in May or the festival in May or whatever, they kind of feel like snapped of this opportunity. And in the beginning, I think it's much more important to get these opportunities. So we will see what will come out for especially youngsters or young players, or youngsters is kind of like a bad word, but for people who are just emerging into the scene, I think it's very hard for them.
I just want to add something to this because I'm familiar with the situation. Where at the same time in Berlin, the second that the lockdown started, the government, I mean, the Berlin Senate just sent us 5,000 euros in our bank accounts. You just registered. It was a 3-minute application, and we all freelancers, and it's not just Berlin, it's the whole Germany actually, received 5,000 euros. So that regardless the situation you were in, it was such a comforting and such a nice way of taking care of the people and also motivate them to respect the rules, to take it seriously, to be like, we're gonna take this pressure off you. You can just take care of yourself and go on with your life. You're not gonna end up in the street. You're not gonna end up dying in starvation because you're losing your jobs and you can't do. And I don't know about the other countries, but like in Romania, it took months. Like the first time they got some help was in June or something. It's like a huge bureaucratic process, and then the money were very little. So that was also very good in Berlin, and also gave us time to watch a lot of movies. I finished Netflix and HBO Go. But also I managed to, which probably I would have never had time to, like this pandemic was perfect for. So a year ago, I started this Instagram project called 365 Earrings, in which I was wearing a different pair of earrings every day, which I actually did. Like I actually have 365 pairs of earrings. But at some point I got bored during the project and I mixed them all in the same box, like after 2 months. So it took me like a month and a half to figure out the pairs again and place them on each month of the year and organize the earrings for the whole year. So that was my pandemic work project.
So you didn't manage to write either?
To what?
To write.
To write?
Yeah, you didn't write during this.
I mean, I wrote Facebook messages and no, I didn't manage to write. I did a performance. I'm performing in a performance called Overmorrow in Wilde Renate, which is a club in Berlin. And they did this installation performance. It's on 3 floors. And it's like a 1-hour tour, 2 people at a time with masks and respecting all the distance measures and stuff. And then you have these either 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 performances throughout the whole building. And they're planning to do it throughout the whole, until the end of the restriction measures and stuff. And also adding new artists and involving other people. And it's really nice.
Okay. Guillaume.
I'm just before being confined. You say confined? I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. I had just handed out a novel, which is published in September. So I had just finished it. So it was a weird situation where I was a bit workless. I mean, I had projects, but later, and I didn't know if they would be possible. So I was just floating a little bit, and I have a kid, so the days were quite full. So being free in my mind to, well, usually I'm alone every day, all the day, and my kid is at school, or and so I didn't have that much time to write, to be honest.
Okay. David has already told us that he had some problems in concentrating.
Well, the thing is that because as Bogdan said, here the support for freelancers wasn't still, I mean, like a few weeks ago when you can assign for a little bit of money. So, but I was lucky because a few months before I got employed by municipal theater, so that kind of saved me. But at the same time, I don't know how it looked everywhere, but here, this city, and they wanted us to kind of to provide the work. So me as a dramaturg, I had to write things that would be then streamed as a reading for internet. So I ended up like writing like at least half an hour material every week. that was read. So actually I wrote a lot of stuff, but that I don't find very valuable because I was kind of like forced to do it under the time pressure. And also, you know, I know that people are, that the theater and this reading on internet is the least thing that can be interesting for people. So, and no one really watched those videos. So it was quite demotivating in a way. So I found the whole situation quite demotivating in general, and I just missed meeting people and seeing word around that actually can give me some impulse to write something that I would be interested about.
Okay, and Francesca.
Yeah, I had to go to Paris for 3 months, but for the lockdown I couldn't not. And so at the beginning, I thought, okay, I can write in any case in my home alone. But it was not possible for me because I had very trouble of concentrating myself. And so I found other way to write. And imagine other way, I take a text that I had not finished, and I try to reformulate with not for the theater, but for other things. And I imagined the exercise of freedom. The exercise of freedom are little exercise, yes, for. Because I thought about what we could do during the lockdown, everyone in his home, and I don't know, but I think that the theater closed influenced me because I couldn't imagine something for the stage. The stage is a void, and so I couldn't think about. For me, it was this thing. It was interesting because I was free from the theater, and for me, sometimes the theater is very strong. Yes. And so, yes, this is the thing.
Okay. In what way what we are going through has become or will become or is becoming material to write plays? That is to say, what I think about what David was telling us has also happened in Barcelona. So you have theatres, institutions, asking playwrights to write, I don't know, a 3-minute play about the COVID, for instance. I don't know, I'm not sure about the value, the artistic value of these things, okay? So how this material, what's going on in society, in the outside world, can become material to write a new play. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to answer first?
Well,
go on, Bogdan.
No, I don't want to start again.
Yes, come on.
I feel like I'm talking too much. Sorry. No. I don't think I would ever write about COVID, but at the same time, what's happening now and what's bringing this, what this situation is bringing up, I think it's bringing extremely important and relevant topics regarding how I want the future to be and how I imagine the future. And like even this basic thing with getting money from the state as universal basic income so that everybody has access to health, shelter, food, and a minimum decent quality of life is something that we should all aim for and all desire for, without having to prove ourselves, without having to feel guilty that today I can't do anything. I just want to stay in bed. And There's not going to be somebody that's going to judge me or evaluate me, and based on that, I can go on with my life or die. Like, look what's happening in the United States regarding the medical health system, and it's clear, like it's such a clear failure, and it's the living proof that it's a bullshit and that it's all a lie. So I think this community thing that is happening, the fact that we are forced to meet our neighbors and meet the people on our street, which we completely got disconnected from, and we had no idea out there because we're all between a flight here, a festival there, and another project there. I think this is honestly amazing, and it should be a very strong source of energy and inspiration for the coming up plays. And I think that's what I would be interested in doing after, when people will be able to get back together, because I have zero interest in this kind of online, as Jakob said, like it's not my first, but it's my second Zoom, and it's really, I have a really hard time doing this online thing, like, yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Who else wants to answer?
Well, I must say that here, when it comes to the COVID plays, like there was, I had so many like commissions as never before, even though for a short plays and voluntary, actually for no income, but I felt that it's not a very inspiring topic, because as we said, I think that what will come after will be much more interesting than what we were in, and it was too early to write about it. So I ended up writing about those pigeons that get dates on the branch behind my window every day, because that was the only thing that I could see. But saying that, I think that it showed, at least in Czech Republic, that we have a lot of playwright voices that can reflect our days, and they can speak about contemporary issues. And I just hope that this collaboration between theaters and playwrights will be after the Corona times as well, because it kind of looked just that we are working with playwrights now because they will do it for free. But I hope that they will still work with us that much after all this come to an end.
Jakob?
Yeah, I think for me the question is more one of who's going to be unable to work at theaters in the future, because lots of theaters are losing money at the moment, or have lost a lot of money, especially for small theaters. It's going to be difficult, or it is difficult. So when before in Germany, playwrights didn't really have the highest status in the hierarchy of artistic expression, or how important they were, I think it's going to be worse now, probably. So if a theater was hesitant to play by someone nobody knows, they're going to be more hesitant now, I'm afraid. But this will probably depend on the theaters. So I know, for example, the Deutsches Theater in Berlin, they're trying to commission a lot of plays now, because they know that playwrights have been struck hard by this. Because I don't know how it is in the other countries, but for us, it's you get royalties based on the sold tickets. So since no tickets were sold, there was no royalties for anybody. So a huge portion of the money is away. Whereas, for example, actors would get money for the plays that were on the table, on the schedule, but that didn't happen because of the COVID. But they would still get money because it's like another budget. So I think this is, for me, more the question: if the situation will find its way into what people are doing on stage, it's probably going to be that way. But and even though now maybe doesn't feel so inspiring, I guess it will find some expression in future works because it just happened in our lives.
Thank you. Francesca.
Yes. For me, the matter is that COVID brings us, in Italy, I don't know in the other country, brings us a political matter. Because a political matter, not only a sanitary emergency, but a political matter because I think that also in the artistic works, but in general, our freedom was very, very limited. I can say limited. Okay, limited for the sanitary emergency. And I ask myself if if the most important things is the biological. I can say biological, okay, biological life or the quality of life. So, so I think that it's not necessary write about the COVID, but about what is happening now, because now the reality come here also when we are closed in our homes. And so for the situation in Italy, for the playwrights, I think that the playwrights are disappeared during the lockdown, because we have not a situation of stability. We are only freelance, and there are not the I don't know how I can say, there are not the helps the okay for the playwrights, not yes, a little things, but not with regularity. And so I think that it will be very, very difficult to restart our working. I think that okay, all of us lost something in this time. All of us playwrights lost something, but then after the emergency, we will be more playwrights, more people in attending something, but the theater will be the same, or maybe the theater will be worse. I think like Jakob. My theater is very little. I don't know if we can reopen our theater after this moment. So okay. I'm not very happy.
Guillaume.
Yes, I'm quite as worried as Francesca and Jakob and Bogdan. It was very interesting what he said about the political issues that come to our minds very powerfully, and thanks to, I don't know if the word is appropriate, but you know, we got the time to think that our way of life was absurd, but in the same time, it's we've been out for like 2 months now, and I think nothing of that has printed anywhere. So I'm a bit pessimistic, and also I'm quite pessimistic about the desire for theater. I mean, I don't know if anyone wants. I mean, I had doubt about what the desire of fiction was not necessarily attached to the theater, and since we've been deprived, we will have been deprived of theater for so long. I don't even know if people will challenge the fear to come to the buildings and to. I'm very worried about will people even feel the need of it. I mean, large number of people, not just a number of very excited people about theater. And so I'm very pessimistic about, since it's a moment of real a warning about the future, and we know that it has already shifted, and I don't know. I was thinking, do we have to get used to close the theater like something that could be totally normal with the evolution of society? So I mean, playwrights, of course, were also in France the least the weakest link of the whole chain of theater. So they just disappeared as well, and we have social status that can enable us to survive quite properly. But at the same time, I'm worried for all the chain, like the actors, the directors, like everyone. I feel like the desire for theater is not very vivid. I don't know. There's something that, I mean, we got used to be at home. We got used to consume more fiction through screens, and we love it, of course. And I don't know. I think the sanitary fear is massive. So how can you conciliate a moment of theater with the paranoid impression that you will be ill? I don't know. There's something I really doubt. But
so sad.
Well, I was scared about it a lot, but here the theaters opened by the end of May, and I must say that those that opened that were more full than usual. That it kind of showed that people wanted to show a solidarity to the theater, that it's something they don't want to lose. And I would say that that for those that opened, that the people kind of supported them as much by going there. And now the summer stages are full as well, because it's something that people actually missed, which is for me it was very surprising and positive news.
But are they normal seated, the theaters, or have they like special COVID seatings?
Now they have a normal seatings.
So they're just like fully booked.
Wow, it's less.
I must say that at Sala Beckett we also reopened at the beginning of July, so 4 weeks ago, and we don't have normal seating, so we have half of it, 50% of the normal seats, because there has to be a separation between people, but it's full every night. So people are really looking forward to going to the theater and seeing a play and forgetting, I think, about what's going on outside.
So luckily, I'm totally wrong, which is great.
We all had the same fear. I mean, we were also wondering, will people come to the theater? And apparently, they do want to come. So that's good. So that's good.
What I can tell you about seating that I experienced recently, and I've discovered it's a lie, is that all these airline companies promise that they're going to take measures and they're going to keep distance on planes and they're going to try to prevent everything. So I flew from Berlin to Bucharest. The plane was full, was completely full. Like there was no empty seat on the plane. People were wearing masks. But then, okay, people were wearing masks and they were told to wear masks. But then the other thing that the companies promised was that they're not going to serve food and drinks on the plane, because you can't have food and drinks without taking off your mask. They didn't do it once. They did it twice with lasagna vegetale, sandwiches and drinks. So like, I mean, really, yeah, I don't even know why we can't do theater. People are paranoid to get to see a show and scared, but at the same time, this is the situation you find yourself put in when you have to fly somewhere. It's all like so double standard again and so fucked up. Like, I just don't want to go anywhere anymore. I'm just gonna do Zoom, but I need to get back home.
Good. Anna, you have not answered the question.
The important question. Well, I don't know. As I observe in Poland, in the stages, I know it's a problem right now, but we also have a summer break mostly in many institutions. So they were opened like for a week or two, and they weren't full. And I know many institutions, and it doesn't matter if it's a private one or is it founded by city or state. They don't know if they will survive after this summer time, as you said, especially if it's a big institution like mine, like Teatr Dramatyczny, for example. So we had like 40-50 actors employed, and they had nothing to do for a couple of months. And of course, there was also in Poland this big trend of doing all these shitty online readings and, you know, to show everything you had in your archive, even if it wasn't, if you weren't able to watch it. And of course, it was a way to pay actors. Like if we had it online, there was a possibility to pay them. But for future, you know, no one knows if there will be a place in theater for them. I know people who started to be an Uber drivers for this time, like at the actors. I think it's a common thing in Europe now. Yeah, so the only line I wanted to add is that I'm happy to have my TV job because I think TV will survive.
For sure.
Yeah.
However, how I mean, I don't know what happens in your countries. Have theaters presented the next season?
But they've never done that. They've never done that before. Why would they do it now?
What has happened with the plays with the productions that were cancelled? Have they been cancelled forever, or have they been transferred to the next season? How is it working in your countries?
So some theaters in Poland, for example, there was a break between March and the beginning of June, and then there was a big wave. So those productions which were supposed to have a premiere in this period, there was a week in which we had like, I don't know, 70 premieres because they wanted to do it, you know, to finish it, to pay actors, and then to have this summer break, but let the people, you know, work. And then I know my friends, they have fixed dates of premieres in September, October. So till the end of the year. And it's, of course, it depends if the institution has, what's the calendar of budgeting in the institution. So if it's a more safe one, they fix the dates. So it's not so bad.
Guillaume, what happens in France?
I think the theaters have, how could you say, they rethought the programming by 3 months, by trimesters. Okay. So they don't commit themselves for the whole year because they have no idea what's going to happen in October and November if the theater will be open or not. But I think they, some of them decided to just inform the public about the next 3 months of what they have planned to show, and they will adapt according to the situations. So they kind of changed their way of thinking and writing the seasons. And they also, I think many shows, it really depends on the institutions, because in some institutions, the shows have just been postponed the year after. But in the same time, since the season are prepared so early now, the seasons were already booked. I mean, the season 2021 was already like full in March, so they couldn't just postpone the shows. So some of the shows are postponed like in 2 years, like in not the next season, but the season after. Some of them are just cancelled. So I think it's the same. I mean, everywhere they just try to cope with the situation and to shorten the programming, saying we can just say what's going to happen in what we hope is going to happen in the 3 months.
Is it the same in Italy, Germany, Czech Republic?
In Italy, only the big theater presents the season, but not all the season, only till the end of the year. And now there are something like summer seasons at the or outside. And yes, it's so. It's too much difficult for the little theater because, for example, in my theater there are 80 seats, but we can show only for 12 persons, 80, 12, and so it's not possible.
12.
Well, here the planning was like before. Most of the theater presented their season for next year, and also most of the premieres were just rescheduled because in the repertory system you create a lot of premieres a year, and they're still on. And the thing is that most of the shows that didn't come to a premiere, they had already set design created, so a lot of money were invested in that. So for the next season, some theaters are in a situation that they have like 20 premieres in the next season, which means like that they have like 2 to 3 premieres a month, which is insane. And I think just very minimum of the premieres were just cancelled. And those were just those that weren't in preparation whatsoever because no money was invested in that. But they tried to premiere everything they planned, mostly.
Okay.
I think in Germany it's also similar, of course. Like some things are off the table, some things are going to be in the next season. Also, like for example, when a direction of the theater ended this year, everything that's not happened will not happen in the future. But I think it's two things to add. Maybe is one is for operas, which I think is crazy because they have a much longer time period to plan opera. So friends of mine did an opera and it was like a month, no, like just 1 week until the premiere, and they will probably not be able to show it before 2021 or 22 or 23 because the operas just can't do it. And now another thing that's happening is that there are just going to be less old and disabled people on stage because they are in the like risk group.
Yeah, the risk.
So, and I mean, this is kind of like just like a very bad thing you have to handle. Yeah. That you will just see less plays with old people, which has a lot of implications of also money because then the theaters will kind of, they will realize that it's cheaper to pay young people, and also disabled bodies will probably not be on stage because it's too risky for them to rehearse. And this is kind of like, I think that's a very bad part of everything that you will see, that it will change what you're going to see.
Okay. Bogdan, you went to Romania to be in rehearsals. So that means that things are moving on in Romania.
Well, it was really cool the way they rethought this. So this festival is a festival for youth, like teenagers, and they select 9 groups from all over the country and they bring them here for 10 days and they have workshops of all kinds, from acting, playwriting, choreography and stuff. But of course they cannot do that during this pandemic. So what they kept their selection of the groups from all over the country, and they're gonna send group of the group of trainers that the teenagers were supposed to work with here, they're gonna send them to the town that they're from. So they're gonna create these 9 small capsules of this festival, which I think is really cool. And we're gonna do this production with the stories based in the community and like the whole relationship within education and this very undeveloped, cut off town from everything. But at the same time, I don't know, it's like I need to figure out what's going on with my situation, and then we'll see. Yeah. And about the Romanian season, I don't know anything.
Okay, good. Okay, we've been talking for about 1 hour, so I have only one question left, which is you told me in general that you have been reading a lot during this month. So in weeks that you have been watching a lot of Netflix stuff. So I'd like you to tell us one book you have read, you have really enjoyed, or one TV series or one film you'd recommend us that you have discovered during this lockdown period. So who wants to start?
So I read Sally Rooney. She's from Dublin, I think, and she wrote Normal People. I think it was well-sold book. It was a bestseller, so you might have heard something about it. Sally Rooney, Normal People.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation, and I also watched my Brilliant Friend, the 2 seasons of your Francesca, your Italian production. Yeah. And it was really, really nice. Some I think it's different than the other productions we know. So that's my recommendation.
Who's next?
I read It of Stephen King because because I didn't read, and it's perfect for the lockdown 2 months. It of I can say this.
David?
Yeah, I've discovered 2 great movies which I had never seen of Kubrick. 2001 Space Odyssey, which was really a shock in the Barry Lyndon. So I was very long, complicated movies were perfect for the period.
David?
Well, I've read the biography of Bertolt Brecht. Not the biography, a monography about him, which I would never have time for that because it's a very huge and long book, and I also read all his plays to keep up with that. But one show that I would recommend to everyone that is The Kidding. It's by Michel Gondry, and it's his writing and directing, and it's great as it can be. It's a very good show.
Good. Jakob?
Yeah, I already said it. I'll stay with every Chantal Akerman movie. It's just great. I just watched John Diamond. I watched, 5, 6, 7 others, and they're all great. Le Rendezvous d'Anna. I have a bad French pronunciation, but it's amazing. It's actually, it's really the best stuff out there.
And Bogdan?
I don't know. I watched everything. And they're so all kind of the same that it doesn't really matter. As long as it puts me to sleep, it's perfect. That's the only reason that I need this fiction in my life.
Good. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for wanting to be part of this conversation. And good luck. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
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 Bye.